Working again. Mightier than the sword. Huh. Cut me off with a cutscene before I can defend. So if I don't want that to happen, I have to make sure that I put the Royal Terrace Pass in my bank ahead of time, and I park my character someplace else near a public bank where I can go ahead and grab it. Did I put chests in here? What did I put in here? I did put chests in here. Why are these in here? These all look like reward items to me. What is this? Why did I put those in there? I must have been tired as hell the last time I played this game. I don't know what is wrong with me. I don't blame them, you know. Generally speaking, unless you're just the patron saint of Guild Wars, you want to see something out of you helping somebody. So if you're going to be farming skill points, you should be able to get some yourself, or if you're going to go kill a legendary or a champion, you ought to be able to get something out of it as well, whether it's loot or an achievement or whatever. And with the story, unless they need the story themselves and unless they're getting credit themselves, people often aren't getting anything out of it. So I don't blame people for leaving me to do the story solo. But because it's taken so long, I still haven't finished the epilogue. And let's see where I actually am. Let me see here. So I'm on Chapter 3 out of the 6 chapters for Living World Season 4. I still have to do Icebrood Saga. And they added some other stuff to do recently, I believe, so I got to get on that eventually. Alright, I believe we have lights, I believe we have sound, we have video, we have action now, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, Unreal from Unreal Gaming, coming at you with a stream of Guild Wars 2. It's been a long time since I've streamed on the regular. Hopefully I can resume that now that my schedule's back to normal. Resuming work as normal, not injured any longer. And breathing a little bit better. With my Grim Reaper on top of a unicorn. This is my death metal shirt. Death metal. Anyway, what we're going to do right now is we're going to take care of my dailies before I take care of more dailies. Because we're looking at a reset at 7 p.m. tonight. Anyway, let's bang these out. We're going to go to the Forgotten Stream mini dungeon. See if I can remember exactly where that is. We'll go take care of that, and then we're going to figure out what other dailies I'm going to take care of, whether it's going to be Bounty Hunter or the Mount Maelstrom event completer. I'm not 100% positive yet. Probably turn up my volume here a little bit. Well, you can actually hear what I'm doing. Got a couple of upgrades since I've last made a video, one of which is my Griffin. I actually have a flying mount now. Or what is kind of a flying mount. Quite frankly, it's... of course I'm going the wrong direction, aren't I? Double check real quick here, but I think I'm actually going the wrong direction. We'll get started here in just a second once I down this Risen Plague Bearer. Because I know he's going to piss me off if I just leave him standing there. Got my first flying mount, although... in a way, I'm not entirely certain you could really call this a flying mount. This being the Griffin, pronouns pal. I don't know if you can necessarily call this a flying mount. In a way, the Griffin, in my opinion, is kind of just a glorified glider. And I say that because, despite the Griffin flapping its wings lazily the way it does, you're going to constantly lose altitude. Now, you can certainly cover much greater distances with this thing than you can with a regular glider, but you can't really regain height once you've lost it. So you're going to have to find something else to jump off of. And it's fairly annoying considering how much time and effort and money goes into getting this thing. I believe it's like a 60 gold mount or something like that. And then you have all the ridiculous quests that you need to do in order to get this thing, collect all the Griffin eggs, and gather this and that and the other thing. It's just a colossal pain in the ass to get this mount. I don't want to say it's not worth it. It's a good mount to have. It comes in handy for certain things if you need to try to maintain altitude as long as you can without having a dragon, or jump to places without using the Springer maybe. This does allow you to get little boosts of air every now and again. But it's not as really awesome as I thought it was going to be. Where the hell is this mini dungeon? I'm going to have to look this up, which I really don't want to do. Move back to the main screen here. This is at that waypoint that's nearly always contested unless you complete the event for it to clear it out temporarily. And then I think we have to go underneath like a waterfall and do a whole bunch of walking, and then eventually we'll get to where we need. This one's a little bit more annoying than some of the others. I really hate ore. There's a mystique about it, which is kind of neat. The history, you know, where it ties into the very beginning of the game, the origins of the Guild Wars lore, but this is so depressing and it looks like crap. Not a big fan at all of the general area. Am I going the wrong way again? I feel like I went the wrong way again, because I think I'm supposed to go northeast if I read that correctly. There we go. Alright, so another player just jumped in here, so that'll point me in the right direction. Starting to remember this area now, and I think we have some spectral hammers, and yep, got some risen and some other stuff here, and there's a spectral juggernaut. Alright, that's completed. Any of you who followed my old Guild Wars streams might recognize that I'm on a different character than usual. This is a druid that I made. I already had an existing ranger, but I wanted something or someone that looked different. And I wanted to make a purpose-built character for druid, which is a elite specialization that kind of turns your ranger, transforms it completely into a spellcaster. Although, depending on how you equip it, you can give it weapons like a bow, which is what I've done here. The thing with the druid is it's a purpose-built healer, so when you're playing that class, you're not going to really have much effectiveness with offense. Normally, the way to play this game is, play this class is to use something like Celestial Armor. At least I believe it's Celestial. Maybe it might be Minstrels. I can't remember, but anyway, you have to have purpose-built healing armor. And I don't have Leatherworker up to 500 on any of my characters to make Ascended armor with those kind of stats. I'm using Exotic on this character just because I'm tooling around with it. I'm not using it for raids or anything really serious. I'm not using it in fractals right now. So what I ended up doing is getting some Cleric's armor. And mostly focusing on healing, but I have a couple of jewelry pieces and some weapons that are a little bit more focused on offense. So I'm not completely useless when it comes to player versus environment gameplay. So I can actually complete the story on this character. And I have been doing that, but I will note that the story missions are... I wouldn't say harder, because I can heal myself so well, but the story missions are much longer. It takes a lot longer to complete these than it would on any of my other characters that are more focused on offense. I've also made another character besides this druid here that I may show you guys later. That is totally focused on offense, and that's got the opposite problem. Ridiculous power. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say unlike anything I've seen before, but ridiculous amount of offense power. However, virtually no protection from enemies. So it's a toss-up. Let's go to Maguma Waste. We're going to do the Maguma Waste Miner event. And then I'll figure out whether I want to go to Mount Maelstrom and do events, or if I want to go do a bounty in the desert somewhere. In the meantime, they've already released, they being ANET, have already released another story chapter that's going to hopefully be leading up to the next expansion pack fairly soon. So I need to get on that. I'm finished with Path of Fire more than once. I've already beat it on this character. Once I made this character, I didn't want to stop playing it for quite a while, so I took the liberty of playing the crap out of Path of Fire on this. Cleared it fairly fast, at least compared to my last playthrough. And I've started on the story mode of the epilogue, the portion that comes after, and I'm partway through that, but the missions are very, very lengthy, or chapters, whatever you want to call them. They're very lengthy. It takes a long time to get through each one, especially if I'm playing solo, which I usually am. I am in a active guild finally. We got plenty of people, many of which are not tagged up, which is disappointing, but plenty of people online. Some of them were helpful. I did have a friend in the guild here help me acquire my Griffin. And I had another friend or two in here also help me get some skill points so I could level up my Druid and I could level up my Weaver, which is a Elementalist Elite spec that I'll talk about later. But I'm running the story solo. They don't really have any motivation to run the story. I don't blame them, you know. Generally speaking, unless you're just the patron saint of Guild Wars, you want to see something out of you helping somebody. So if you're going to be farming skill points, you should be able to get some yourself, or if you're going to go kill a legendary or a champion, you ought to be able to get something out of it as well, whether it's a loot or an achievement or whatever. And with the story, unless they need the story themselves and unless they're getting credit themselves, people often aren't getting anything out of it. So I don't blame people for leaving me to do the story solo. But because it's taken so long, I still haven't finished the epilogue. And let's see where I actually am. Let me see here. So I'm on Chapter 3 out of the 6 chapters for Living World Season 4. I still have to do Icebrood Saga, and they added some other stuff to do recently, I believe, so I got to get on that eventually. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Alright. Get this done. I can see what's going on in Crystal Oasis. Let me travel over there. Ever since I completed Path of Fire on my Druid, I've kind of had a motivation to get the rest of my characters over to the desert, because quite frankly, prior to this, I had not traveled to the desert at all on any characters other than the ones that I had to. But now I've moved my Warrior down here, I moved my Mesmer down here, I think my Necromancer's down here, so on and so forth. Well, we actually got some bounties here. Troublemakers. Normally, I start these dailies right at reset time, but because I had work the last evening, I did not have a chance to do that, and we don't have a massive collection of people waiting to do the bounty here. I will put on my commander tag, and hopefully some people will come along. The problem is I can't do this alone. Alright, if somebody's doing a boss, I'm going to go meet them instead rather than launch my own. The problem is these bounties are very powerful, very big health pools. I'm not going to be able to down them by myself on any character, never mind my Druid, which is low on offense and high on healing. Another major development, while I'm thinking about it, besides the changes in my health, I've bought a whole host of new games, and I've also bought a very coveted piece of computer hardware. And not talking about the 3060 or 3070, I'm not even talking about the 3080, I'm talking about the GeForce 3090. I've actually obtained a 3090 and installed that in my computer. The reason I was just reminded of that, unfortunately, is because of how poor the frame rate is right now. I don't know if you guys can see the frame rate in the top right corner, but I'm getting, as I'm looking at that crowd, about 18, 17 right now frames per second, which is abysmal and, in my opinion, inexcusable. But the thing is, with certain games, and I'm going to be... Oh, there we go, there's our legendary. Talk a little bit more about the graphics card in a second. I don't think I've ever bumped into this legendary before. I'm going to be doing a little bit of healing with these guys here, since that's supposed to be my main occupation here. There we go. Wow, what a lousy frame rate. Anyway, now that that's done, let me continue with my rant about the graphics card. I am going to do a full review of the card in my own manner. I'm not part of a tech company or anything like that, so I don't have a test bench with, 8 or 10 different graphics cards to try this with. So I'm going to be giving you when I do it, I'm going to be giving you a real-world review of what my rather large library of games performs like on this card, both old and new. And one of the problems that you will find with several different games, not just Guild Wars, is that the games are not necessarily optimized to the best of their ability, and there are two real things that are going to prevent you from getting the kind of frame rate that you may want to achieve from a hardware standpoint. One of them is the graphics card, obviously. The other one is the processor. And older games, and unfortunately this one is older. I think Guild Wars 2 came out in around like 2000... Oh, geez, I don't even know. 2011, I want to say, somewhere around there. Anyway, point being that besides the graphics card, the other thing is the processor that can really limit you. And older games that had been developed in years prior to 2011, 2010, whatever, they might have only been optimized for 2 cores, or in some games only for 1 core. And not only do they not know what to do with the spare cores, they may actually, in some cases, perform worse with the extra cores. I can still remember playing the original Deus Ex game. For years, everybody was playing those with single-core processors because that's all that existed. But then people moved on from the Pentium 4 processor from Intel into things like the Core 2 Duo series when that debuted. And it turned out that when hosting a server for that game, for the multiplayer, disabling the second core actually made the game perform better. And I can actually remember with Grand Theft Auto 4, I used to play that with a GeForce 8800 GTX, which at the time it was released was a top-of-the-line video card. Later on, I upgraded to a new computer which had not one but 2, at the time ATI, now AMD, Radeon 4890s, and I ran them in a crossfire mode, where the 2 cards are supposed to basically split the workload and help to render the game together. And as it turned out, Grand Theft Auto 4 did not take advantage of the second graphics card. Not only that, it actually performed worse with the second graphics card in practice. I don't know if that was the case for NVIDIA SLI, if it was just a crossfire problem, but I disabled the second graphics card and I got slightly better frame rates. They're about the same, maybe, with the single card. And unfortunately, seemingly, no matter what graphics card I'm throwing in here or what processor I'm using, the game performs about the same. And that's from the GeForce 570 to the 670, going to the GeForce 1070, which is a pretty big leap. That was a bit of an improvement. And I was using that for a very long time, and I finally moved over to the GeForce 3090. I already forgot the name. 3090. Totally new architecture, 24 gigabytes of texture memory on board. Yes, I am running with a new monitor now, with a little bit higher resolution, but nothing crazy. Even running at 1440p with a 144 Hz refresh rate, this game still performs like ass whenever it chooses to. Right now is not too bad, 72 frames per second, that's more than playable, perfectly happy with that. But you can probably see as I'm swiveling the camera around, this dips into the 50s, into the 40s, into the 30s in some cases. And for a game with an engine this old, even with the moderate graphical upgrades, with an engine this old, that's pretty inexcusable. And I'm not lacking in processing power either. For years I was running this game with a Intel 3770K, the unlocked version of the i7, was the highest I could get at the time. I'm now running with a 9900K Core i9 processor, which is a 8-core CPU with 16 threads. Zero difference in performance. So unfortunately, while this game can certainly look pretty, in a lot of cases it can perform like ass, and it's not going to be a real representation of what this card is really capable of. Not to mention it doesn't have any of the new fancy effects that NVIDIA likes to tout, like DLSS or ray tracing, what have you. Anyway, let me get off my graphics card soapbox here, and let's go to... Wait. Hang on. Hang on a second here. Crystal Oasis Bounty Hunter has not been completed. Why has it not been completed? That's upsetting. I thought that counted. That is very disappointing to say the least. I'm just going to sort my inventory a little bit while I wait. Berserker's Warhorn, Sugar Rib. Tell you what I'll do. I'm just going to go out there. We're going to see if we can get some of these guys to follow us. Problem is, besides being tough opponents to kill, these guys also have timers. So not only do I have to worry about killing them, I also have to worry about killing them before a certain amount of time runs out. I don't remember if it's 10 minutes or 15 or whatever it is. It's fairly short. Alright, I got a few people out here. I think we can take them. I've at least fought this guy before, and I know he's not all that hard to beat. You guys might be able to see that little blue semicircle above my health bar. That's going to be for basically the magical power I have for healing. Finally seeing all these green numbers pop up, so I'm able to kind of do my job here, so to speak. Do what my profession is meant to do. Let's heal all the peeps doing the melee damage here. Unfortunately, we have a lot less people doing this at the moment, but the good thing is there was no shortage of bounties for me to pick, because normally when the reset happens at 7 p.m., all the bounties are taken up by other players, and I have to sit there in front of the bounty board waiting for them to regenerate after a cooldown period. This is not taking too long at all. We're more than halfway through killing this guy. Everybody wondering what I'm doing here. I'm currently using my glyphs, which you have to be within kind of close range to get them to be effective, so All I'm doing right now is just getting near the boss, not necessarily fighting him too up close and personal for a prolonged period. Let's get that one last heal off and we'll go switch back. I love the staff, but unfortunately it does very little in the way of damage. So my offhand weapon that I can switch to is going to be a longbow for maximum reach and some decent effects. Vulnerability, cripple, that sort of stuff. Stealth skill with it. Alright, so that's pretty much all she wrote. That's the last portion of our dailies here. Let's see what I got for loot here. What did I get? Tin coffee pot. Nice. Ah, it's all went down here for some reason. Sentient seeds.
Nice gear.
Ah, I get my own choice of rewards, do I? Harrier's inscription. That is worth it. So I'm going to pick that. Harrier's is a good set of stats under the right circumstances. Let's take care of the rest of these. I don't think I'm going to go with Artificer on this character. I probably want to level up Leatherworker based on the kind of armor that I wear, medium armor. But I'm going to hang on to that. That's going to be coming in handy later for me on one of my other characters. I guess I might as well use this opportunity to show off the other character that I made.
That looks valuable.
You know, I gotta say from my own experience, there's nothing quite like being injured or laid off or otherwise unemployed for making progress in an MMO. The most progress I had ever made in this game, without a doubt, was when I was laid off from my tech job a number of years ago, around 2014, I want to say. They could not afford to pay me. Couldn't afford to pay me. So I got laid off from that and wound up going to college again and getting a whole new profession from it. But in the interim months, I didn't have a whole lot of stuff to do. So I spent a lot of extra time playing Guild Wars, and I created a whole bunch of characters. I think somewhere in the neighborhood of about 9 or 10 of them. And I'm up to about, I think, like 12 or 13 now. It's a pretty ludicrous number. What I'm going to do right now is switch off of my Druid here, and I think I might hop onto my my Weaver. And I'll explain the Weaver in a little bit. I'm just going to mess around with my crafting materials real quick here. I know I'm going to be going for Leatherworker eventually, but right now I want the gold. Always going to gather more crafting materials either passively or actively by taking care of stuff like the selling of clothing and... Did I just sell the wrong thing? Yeah, I did. By the... salvaging of clothing materials or other items. You'll get crafting mats back for it. Oh, I can't sell it on the trading post. Alright. I guess I will sell it. Never mind. Hey, come on now. Let's put this stuff away. I got these writs of experience that I'll eventually be able to turn into a Tome of Knowledge. And I've been using these the entire time to level my characters. I still have 575 Tomes of Knowledge. I will say what I was running out of for a little bit was laurels, which is a kind of currency you can use in here. It's only useful for certain items. You can't buy everything with it, but there are laurel merchants like this one right here. And besides some of the goofy stuff you can buy, or crafting mats, you can also buy some Ascendant gear, predominantly jewelry, or accessories, if you want to call it that. Basically necklaces, rings, earrings, that sort of stuff. Anyway, now that I got that settled with, let's put the Tome of Knowledge away. And I'm also going to stash this inscription here away for Ascended Armor. Oops, and actually before I forget, let me take my Royal Terrace pass and put that away. Why is this in here? That is a bag of spirit shards. That's consumable and it goes in your wallet, just like the laurels or karma, gold, whatever. So that doesn't need to be in there. I'm going to go park my druid outside of Minister's Waypoint. Unfortunately, if anybody from ANET is listening, please, if you have anything like the Mistlike Sanctuary Pass or the Royal Terrace Pass or whatever else you may have, make it account bound, please. Make it account wide. Make it a permanent slot up at the top here. Shared inventory slot, like the level 80 boost. I should not have to transfer that from character to character in my bank. That should be an account-wide item that I can use. Because currently, if I want to move over to this character, which this is my Weaver, Kreia the Eternal. If you want to move over to another character and you want to bring that person into the Royal Terrace, you have to have the Royal Terrace pass on that character. The problem is if I parked my old character into the Royal Terrace and I log back into that person later on, they get kicked out immediately. Even though you're already in there, you get kicked out. So if I don't want that to happen, I have to make sure that I put the Royal Terrace pass in my bank ahead of time, and I park my character someplace else near a public bank where I can go ahead and grab it. Did I put chests in here? What did I put in here? I did put chests in here. Why are these in here? These all look like reward items to me. What is this? Why did I put those in there? I must have been tired as hell the last time I played this game. I don't know what is wrong with me. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff wrong with me, but that's another story. Alright, so I'll go over the character I've got here really quick. So, Kreia the Eternal, I made a second Sylvari, another female Sylvari. What you're looking at is a Sylvari with a makeover, or was it a hairstyle or makeover? I think it was a makeover kit used. Slight alteration of the face, different hairstyle that you can't get under normal circumstances. I'm wearing Sylvari Tier 3 cultural armor. Used the skin and combined it with the regular gear that I wanted, which is all Berserker's gear. Power Precision Ferocity, I'm using Rune of the Scholar, Power Precision Ferocity. Berserker's Jewelry, Power Precision Ferocity. And Berserker's Weapons, Power Precision Ferocity. And I'm also using a Sylvari themed back piece, the Grove Hydria, is it pronounced? Hydria, we'll go with that. And you guessed it, Power Precision Ferocity. This is all Zerk gear. See, I didn't even bother to upgrade my rebreather here for underwater fighting. This is all Zerk gear. It's largely going to be a Zerk Ellie, which is an age-old build dating back to the beginning of the game. Something that I was using before any of the expansions were ever released. But this is a Weaver, which is one of the most desirable damage-dealing classes or subclasses, professions, whatever you want to call it, that you can get right now. And the idea behind it is, instead of picking a specific attunement, such as fire, air, water, earth, whatever, you're combining attunements. You're weaving them together, hence the name. And you're going to be using a sword, short sword, or a one-handed sword, I guess, for a weapon now. And at least before we were able to use dagger. Now with this Weaver build, you're using short sword and dagger. But despite the melee skills, you're also still able to use a lot of your long-range stuff. You're still able to use glyphs like Firestorm. You're still able to use some of the cool elites like the Fiery Greatsword, your Tornado, and there is a Weaver-specific elite, which some people use, but it's not as effective for just pure DPS as the Fiery Greatsword is, which is why I have that there. Arcane Blast, Primordial Stance, which is new. This is a build that's intended for raids. This is meant to do maximum damage output and nothing else, and as a result of that, because of the Zerk gear that I'm wearing, because of the Zerk weapons and armor, because I'm an Elementalist, which is by design supposed to be a very, very powerful class at the trade-off of being kind of weak for defense, I have a very low health pool. Level 80, I'm 11,645 health. That's extremely low. So this is not like playing a thief. I do ridiculous damage, but I'm way more vulnerable than a thief is. So I really need to get in and get out of combat in PvE situations. Again, I'm not using this in raids currently. I'm just using the meta raid build for this character because it's effective DPS, but I really need to get in and get out of combat or I'm going to die. That's kind of just all there is to it. So I'm thinking what I might do is just to show you what the class does, maybe I'll play a little bit of the core campaign, just because I can. What I need to do right now is find out where my story is. Can't imagine it's in Divinity. I guess it could be in Divinity's Reach. Reaper's Gates. Sure it's not in Lion's Arch someplace? Okay, that's more like it. I figured it'd be over here someplace. Let me see here. Do I really not have a close by waypoint? Oh, there's one. Missed it. Of course, that's a problem with making new characters, is when you have the new characters, you're left to explore the map all over again. And if you have many characters as I do, you're going to be doing that 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever times. It starts to get old after a while. My main goal whenever I made new characters in the past was always to try to run them to all the dungeons, because number one, it allows you to... guess I can't go up that way. Number one, it allows you to do all the dungeons, which used to be important before raids came along. But number two would also unlock arguably some of the more important waypoints along the way. Come on, don't fall. Thank you. There we go. See, I told you that raptor could come up with... excuse me, the griffin could come up with some neat jumps. Here we are. Looks like we're going into dredge territory. Anyway, but unlock some key waypoints along the way. Carves a path for the story, so you have a rough idea of where you're going anyway. And the dungeons were kind of used to tie in the reuniting of the characters of this game. I'll elaborate on that in a second.
This place is creepy. Why are we here again? That statue of Grenth has been leaking magic. I couldn't think of anything else that matches the power of the sanguinary blade. We'll take some shavings from the statue. If we can build a containment vessel to hold those safely, it should be able to suppress the sword. First, the fragments. Then we hurry to the priory and work on a vessel. Ready? What? You're not scared, are you? It's just a spooky tunnel that's collapsing.
Ha ha ha. Speaking of raids, we got an entrance to one over here, although I can't access it right now.
This place is amazing. I wonder what it was for.
Wow. Yeah, I figured there would be repercussions of some kind. Nice! Wow! That is painful. Of course, that's the only problem I have with this character, is just how much of a glass cannon this thing is. So you gotta be careful. In the grand scheme of things, at least the good thing is that the core campaign is a million times easier than either Heart of Thorns or Path of Fire is. There are certain sections of both games where I just simply cannot avoid dying. The Druid was the best character for running Path of Fire. That was... There we go. That was the best character for survival purposes. But there are some parts of it where if I screw up, I'm still going to die, even with all the incredible healing power that I get. You know, while I'm up here, I don't necessarily need it, but since I'm up here, why don't I get these 2 hero points? Oh, I can't even fit under here with a skimmer? You're going to be kidding me. You guys may not be able to hear it too clearly right now, but what we have playing is some classic Guild Wars music from the first game. This is music that used to play in the Deldrimor Dwarven area in the mountains. Kind of towards the latter parts of the game, near level 20. I remember running out in the area of like Drockner's Forge or whatever, which is a first place that you could get endgame armor, which at the time was level 20. That was the cap in the first Guild Wars game. Brings back memories, and a lot of them, because that's a very old game by today's standards. I think it was like a 2005 release date or something like that, I want to say. Hell of a game. Still one of my favorite video games of all time, without a shadow of a doubt. Speaking of shadows... There we go. Didn't take too long. Let's go back to the Durman Priory. We gotta go visit Siren here. Talk to my fellow Talking Cabbage. Get the lowdown on what's happening here. Those of you unfamiliar, this is the Durman Priory. When you go through the core campaign, the original game, you have 3 factions that you can join up with temporarily. You have the Vigil, which is kind of more geared towards warriors. You have the Order of Whispers, which is more for like thieves. And then you have the Priory, which is more for the intellectuals or spellcasters, people who use magic. So it's perfect for elementalists, mesmers, that sort of thing. Of course, the mission starts at the stairs of the Priory, not the actual area where I'm going to talk to Siren. All right. And of course I cannot use my mounts because in the core campaign they didn't have any mounts. Got a couple of tricks here and there to move faster.
I borrowed some artifacts from the Priory Vault and rigged this together. It looks totally cherry. I'm sure it'll work fine. Actually, Siren, it looks horribly dangerous. Won't someone notice those things went missing? Oh, honestly, these have been gathering dust in the vault for years. Nobody wants them, so who'll care? I got a Jadeite rune of holding, then modified it and wove the whole thing onto a shadow shard. Now, all the enchantments are merged. When the Sanguinary Blade is put into the shadow shard, it'll technically be off this plane of existence. The sword won't be able to corrupt anything. But, there's one problem. I need to tune the enchantments to work together instead of tearing themselves apart, or it could collapse the mountain. Wait, what? Collapse the... Siren? No. It'll work, I promise. While I'm doing that, though, things could get exciting, so keep your weapon out. Things you call exciting are what most people call reckless endangerment. Oh, come on, novice, cheer up. The worst that could happen is that we're lost forever in shadow, but more likely we'll just have to mop up some shades. Here goes.
Here it goes indeed. Alright, let's mop up the shades or whatever else she's going to conjure. I honestly can't remember. I can't remember if she conjures up Risen or what the deal is.
I'll let you know when the containment unit is ready to activate.
I'm sure you will. There's Gix.
Magical leakage seems to be coming from Siren. Novice, what are you two doing? Give me that thing. I'll stop this. This thing is so cross-enchanted, it could power a spurious logic golem.
But the theorems all made sense.
Exactly. You can't apply sense with technology. You two, defend me while I desensify this mess.
Alright. Here we go. The problem is I'm still not super proficient at this build. And your job, besides just mashing buttons, is to constantly change attunements. With the emphasis being on air and fire. Ouch, he still knocked me over even though I dodged him. Ouch. Alright, well that's done.
Success. The shades are gone and the containment field seems to be working.
I should have known the magical transfluctuation was your doing, Siren. Inexcusable. What is this patch of crap you created? You put a... with a... by the alchemy. Brilliant. Insane, but absolutely ingenious. You think like an Asura, you womp-believed lunatic, but you don't take proper precautions. If I hadn't come along when I did...
I'm sorry, Steward Gix. I mean, we needed to contain the sword, and nobody wanted this stuff.
If this wasn't such an innovative creation, I'd toss you out on your twigs. As it is, you're both on probation. No argument. Priory anarchists have scried Stieg Frostbeard's location. He's hiding in an encampment near Black Barrel's mill. Get out of here, and take this mad contraption with you. If you foul this up, I'll throw you to the termites, you pernicious metal brain.
Hey, that's racist now. No need to talk that way. You can start throwing around insults like mouse, what the Char used to call the Asura in the first game. They're making their original appearances. Alright. So we gotta go all the way down here. Let's go to that waypoint. Hustle on over. Bang out another chapter or two before I move on to another game. I'm gonna try to get at least one more game out this evening. It's been a pretty big lack of content. I've been dealing with a couple of different major health problems lately. Got those mostly resolved, at least resolved enough to the point where I can start working again. Mightier than the sword. Huh. Cut me off with a cutscene before I can defend.
Hello there, Norn. We're here from the Derman Priory, and your friend Stieg has something that belongs to us. We're just here for Frostbeard. Bring us the sword he carries, and we won't hurt you.
Pathetic little bookworms. Stieg Frostbeard is mighty. He will attack Lion's Arch, and we will show you all dragon's power. Stieg's blood sword is a holy relic of the dragon, Jormag. The dragon blesses Stieg for his faithful service. He will lead us to victory.
It's not too late. Please, think about what you're doing. The dragon may give you power, but in exchange, he's made you slaves.
Abandoned dragon in his time of triumph? Why would we do that?
You can do it or I can kill you. Those are your options.
Innocent people. You can't do this. They aren't listening, Novice. Time to switch to Plan B. Go get them.
Oh yeah, just have me do all the work. Why not?
Give us the sword. His power with so much
Alright, let's rip through the rest of these guys. Well, since you're running. Alright, let's ride the lightning here. Where are you going? Come here. There we go.
Well done, novice. The Sanguinary Blade is ours, and Lion's Arch is safe from Stieg Frostbeard. It's hard to believe that Stieg was willing to see all his Norn friends die, just to keep the power of the Sanguinary Blade. That's not hard for me to believe at all, novice. It's typical of the idiots who serve Elder Dragons. The dragons are a blight. They don't care about anything but their hunger. Their followers are just bad. Even if we find a way to save the world from the dragons, I sometimes wonder if we'll ever find a way to save us from ourselves.
Not likely.
Gix told me I was going to be mentoring a new novice. I thought it would be an incredibly boring task. But you know what? I really like you. You're willing to try new things, and you've got a good head on your shoulders.
Thanks, Siren. I have to admit, this has been a lot of fun.
Cherry, come on, let's get the sword back to Gix. After that, we'll work on saving the world.
Righto. Back over to the Priory. Oh, there's a lot of trees around here I can cut down. I understand if it's boring, but it's very hard to pack up. Wow, it's very hard to pass up on easy to get crafting materials. Come on, you can jump up there. There we go. Didn't figure I would see a cherry sapling up here. See, this is where the Griffin is going to come in most handy, without a doubt, is when you get that initial altitude that you can eventually dive off of. Then you can really carry that glide for a real long distance, much better than you can with a normal glider. But all things considered, it is still just a glorified glider. It's not really a true flying mount, in my opinion. And I guess I'll explore the area while I'm over here. Go grab that waypoint I can see up at the north. Might actually dismount me as I approach. Oh, hi, Casual Nature Witch. Thank you for joining chat, and I agree, you should get one eventually. It's just a lot of work. And 60 gold. But the work is a lot more annoying than the 60 gold is. There we go, finally have it. Alright, let's go back to the Priory. Yeah, there we go. Classic music plays again. That's Jeremy Soule, ladies and gentlemen, the gentleman responsible for the Elder Scrolls Oblivion soundtrack, another famous RPG soundtrack, although he's now, unfortunately, locked in a contract with the EverQuest folks. So he's only going to be making music for the EverQuest games for the foreseeable future. See what Siren and the Asura Gix have to tell me.
The Sanguinary Blade. I shudder to think of the damage it would have wrought without your aid. You've both done well. Consider yourselves off probation. Further, novice, I hereby promote you to the rank of Explorer, with all the rights and privileges, etc., etc.
No idea what that means, but okay.
I'd like you to continue your partnership with Siren. Perhaps you can keep this deciduous do-gooder out of trouble.
Thank you, Stuart Gix. I'd be happy to collaborate with Siren. We work well together.
Poor Gix. You're just jealous that you're stuck in here being leadery and responsible while we're having all the fun.
Yes, I'm sure that's exactly what it is. Be that as it may, I must rely on you two for another project. Your next endeavor is a research assignment involving one of the lesser races of Tyria. Do try not to teach them bad habits, Siren. Explorer, get a briefing from Siren, and choose which species you'd like to study. Now, go.
It's been a long time since I've done this portion of the story. I believe you have to choose a race like the Hylic or the Giants or the Dredge or something like that. There we go. Skritz, Quaggins, Hylic. Ooh, I don't like underwater combat. I guess I'll try. I always pick the Hylic. I guess I'll try the Skrit. Let's go back here. Oh, I get a letter. Didn't see that. Kaith.
That noisy Norn is back. Would someone shut him up? That noisy Norn is back.
I suppose I should probably elaborate on the portion of the story I said I was going to elaborate on, but forgot. So, the idea is that when you play through the game and you're dealing with the dungeons help get the NPCs back together. Because you start off the game with a bunch of supporting major characters, you know, Ritlock, Logan Thackeray, Kaith, Erstagulkin, all that stuff. And the idea is that they were all part of a group called Destiny's Edge that would fight the dragons, and there was some kind of a goof up. Snaf, a Asura that they had in the group, died. I left out Zoja, it was another Asura in the group. Anyway, Snaf died, and they disbanded, blamed each other in some kind of form or fashion about the whole debacle, so in order to defeat Zhaitan, the dragon antagonist of this game, you need to get them back together, and the way that you do that is through playing through the different dungeons. And I think the first one is available to you sometime around like level 30, I think. Story mode, anyway. I think it's Ascalon Catacombs is the first one you can do, and you start getting other ones you can do later on, Cauticus Manor, and leads all the way up to Crucible of Eternity, and finally Araz, the last dungeon that you get a chance to do, which is in Ore itself. And Araz is interesting, but sucks big time. That is a very difficult dungeon to do. You really need an organized group for that. Oh, that's not very nice. What did I do to them? Still haven't broken combat after all that distance? Oh, for crying out loud. I really don't want to fight all these friggin' guys. Oh, come on. Let's try getting on my Raptor. Not as cool as a flying mount, but it is very fast on the ground. I have not yet got the Roller Beetle, the Warclaw, or the Dragon. So let me grab this waypoint over here. I know the mission's further up that way, but I'm going to grab this in case something happens. Might as well say hello to my guildmate. Let's get this vista, see what we got for a view. I don't think there's too much to look at here. Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah, going up that way. Oh, that's right, I don't want that for this. I want the Griffin again. get that elevation I was talking about, and let's cover some distance. It looks like we get another Vista I'll grab. Let's see if we got here anything good to look at. No, not really. Yeah, cut myself loose on that one a little bit early. Let's go grab this. Oh, is that a mastery or is that a skill point? Looks like a skill point. I can't even remember if I have enough to actually train in Tempest or not. I already have a Tempest, that's what my other Elementalist is, but let's see where we're at. Yeah, I need a total of 30 to start that. Alright, so looks like I've reached the entry point. This is going to be a Skrit, I don't know, dungeon. I don't know if that's the best word for it. Skrit hideout. City.
Another underground race. I'll never get that.
You came to see strange finding, yes? So fast, Priory, travel quick.
The Priory loves investigating mysterious artifacts. We're happy to be here.
Good. Many of them to see. Very strange. Very odd. Follow. Come, follow. We found this. We show you. Found Dwarven shinies. Yes, yes. Maybe you trade to take them home.
It's amazing the Skrit had the Weaver weapon build years before the Weaver was a thing. He has a sword and dagger just like me.
Little ovoid.
Oh, these are destroyer eggs.
It's almost like...
Shikik found many. Deep, deep down in a cave. Going back to get more.
Oh no. Your little friend is still down there. That's bad.
No choice. We need goods to trade. Need to trade to feed our young. That or starve.
My question is, who the hell is going to buy those from you?
Evil creatures. Take my friend. Leave our shinies alone.
Very resilient. Very determined to keep blocking me. That takes care of all of them.
Seen these creatures before? Yes, in the deeps. We fled long ago. Now they come closer to the surface. Found us. They must have followed our scouts. Found our city. Now they come, all teeth and death. They will return until we die.
I know about destroyers. Priory records say they are servants of the Dragon Primordus. A group of heroes fought him long ago. These minions are dangerous, full of magma and bad attitude. I'm not surprised they attacked the Skrit, but why so persistently?
Look at this artifact. Looks like an egg of some kind. Destroyer egg? Is that possible?
Yes, yes. Shikik found it in room 4, just like it. Many just like it. Shikik would have liked to bring more, but she has not returned. The Tor thinks we can make bombs to kill the destroyers. Wants to steal bomb powder from the centaurs for explosion.
Interesting. We could investigate these eggs and maybe save the lost Skrit, or ready a bomb to take out the destroyers when they return. Which sounds more fun?
Which sounds more fun.
Think of my home in Grove. What would I be willing to do if something threatened it?
I'll try and be nice and see if I can save the Skrit. I probably can't, but I'll try. Alright, let's leave. I think I'll switch to another game fairly soon. Maybe I'll just do this next chapter here. Now that I'm looking around here, I believe this is actually the site of a jumping puzzle not too far from here. I think it's technically inside the little canyon that's in front of us in the feral dens. But for adventurous mesmers who are capable, you can actually get portaled from right about here. Let's glide. I can't get on my raptor, raptor. I can't get on my griffin, unfortunately. Mounts are disabled. There we go, now I can. Oh, look at that. Trying to disable my mount again because I'm too close to the jumping puzzle. Alright, let's get on my raptor. And we'll keep going. Oh, is there a skill point? Where's a skill point? Am I missing something? Oh, Ulsan the Anvil. That's one of the dudes who becomes a legendary, isn't it? There's a hero point. There we go. Oh yeah, that just melted all the characters. Well, I wish I could do that to Ulsan the Anvil, but I have a feeling he'd kill me in pretty short order because of how small my health bar is. Let's get back on my griffin. I'll go fly over to the area. Let me guess, I gotta go through the camp. Yep, I sure do. Alright, let's get on my raptor. So I know they're gonna try to hit me with a bow virtually immediately. So I gotta go everywhere here. I gotta go through the whole camp basically to move forward. I'll grab this waypoint while I'm here. Hopefully I can do that without dying. Yeah. Coming through, don't mind me. Oh yeah, this place. I was here for an event completer quest one day. I remember this. Alright, well they're not chasing me, so we'll go with it. The hatchery.
Chicky and the scouts must be down here somewhere. We have to find them.
Okay. Ow.
That was interesting.
Yeah, that's one word for it. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Seriously? Where are you going? Still alive, huh? Oh, of course. Seriously? Yeah, you just evade all my attacks, why not? You finally done having enemies come over here? Enough with the aggro already. Alright, let's talk to the Skrit here. Let's go get this reject here. I'm pretty sure there's a jumping puzzle back here. Oh yeah. He's knocked out. Going after the grubs instead of me, I'll take it. Get the Skrit scouts to safety. Now you really have to fight them, come on. Destroyer harpies. Nobody likes getting harpies.
Thanks for saving us. We were trapped. The eggs. These eggs are horrible.
Don't worry, we'll see that they're all killed, along with their queen. Destroyer queen. Dragon minions shouldn't be able to reproduce. How is this possible?
Priory records have documented such creatures. They were pregnant when they were corrupted, or it might be something new. How exciting!
I don't like either option. We have to take this creature out before she makes more eggs.
We'll stand with you and fight. We know these things from the deeps. Know their cruelty. Come, meet me back at the village. Much to do.
A tree, Scholar.
Well, it's not as though I have much in the way of a choice if I'm going to complete this story. Did not mean to teleport all the way over here. Oh well. Let's get out of here while the getting's good. Feral dens.
I'm worried. All this tension in the air. Something
Welcome
terrible
Ouch.
I'm glad to see you. The raid on the Centaur camp was a windfall of explosive powder, and the kin you rescued helped us assemble a potent bomb.
Jack, you sound smarter than before. What happened?
We Skreets grow smarter when we are together. That's why it was vital for Shikik scouts to be rescued. The greater the numbers, the better the results. Jack, our scouts are under attack. The Queen is approaching. What? No, too soon. The bomb isn't primed. We'll have to set it off here, in the village. Evacuate the young and the old.
Oh, no. Pototchak, you have to ready the bomb. We'll defend you. Send as many of your people to safety as you can.
Thank you. This is for the brothers and sisters they took from. We will bury these destroyers today, no matter the cost.
Almost on us. What do we do?
Get as many of us out as you can. Then hold back the destroyers.
I will die to keep them away from you if I have.
My food are running out already. Sweet and spicy butternut squash soup is very expensive.
I'm exposed.
Not switching up attunements a whole lot because I don't have to. These are coming up fairly slow and one or two at a time. Waiting for the big boss to come in. I see a couple up there at the top of the ramp.
The bomb is ready. Stun the Queen. I'll activate the bomb.
That's a big destroyer.
Be destroyed.
Oh, sorry, fallen ally. I gotta get going. Hopefully it's not Siren, but if it is, oh well. Made it. Well, I guess Siren's a goner. Oh, no, there she is. Yay, good to see you again. Alright, we're all excited.
My people, my friends, all dead. Once was chatter and happy stories. Now, just silence. Too much silence.
I'm sorry for Jack. Your people were brave. They died protecting their friends and family.
At least we were able to take out the Queen and all her eggs. That's a victory. Not just for the Skrit, but for all Tyria.
For Tokchak, the Dermond Priory exists to learn about dangers like this. If you join us, you can help spare others from this fate.
Destroyers hunted us below. We lost many. Ran here. Now, here they are. I see there can be no more running. My village will join your cause.
These poor Skrit. I've seen other creatures die to dragon minions, but these were such friendly little fuzzballs.
Except for all the thievery.
Tragedy.
The Skrit remind me of you in a way, Siren. Impulsive and reckless, but also brave. They love life, every bit of it.
A tremendous compliment, Explorer. Thank you. Come, let's report to Gix and let him know that the Priory has some new friends.
Okay.
Look at this. So pretty.
Speak with Gix in the archive. So, I think with that being done, I'm going to take a pause and I'm going to end the stream here. I'm going to pick up where I left off with another game. And then if I have some time, another one after that. I've got a lot of ground to cover since I lost a lot of good quality time to do some streams. Oops, activated my chair by mistake. That's my chair. I think you get that if you've played the game for 7 years. Anyway, lost a lot of ground. So I've got a lot of catching up to do with my streaming content, so I'm going to come back with one more game tonight at least, maybe 2 more if I have the time for it. Appreciate you all coming in and watching the stream, joining me here for a little bit of Guild Wars. And I plan on having some more, because Daily's reset in another half hour, so you know what, maybe we'll have more Guild Wars content in the near future. So I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for supporting me. And before I go, I will tell you all the ways you can support me. Obviously, my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/unreal_twitch, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/unrealgaming, and you can donate to me. U, the letter U, .gamecaster.com/unreal, where you can tip me, donate to the cause, and help me recoup the money that I spend on games, equipment, software, to try to make all of my streams as entertaining as possible for all of you guys. So thank you again for watching. Until next time, I'm Unreal. You just watched Stream with an Average Gamer. You guys take care.